Hi guys, it's Fee with Movie Reviews with Fee, and today I'm reviewing Magazine Dreams, starring Jonathan Majors and directed by Elijah Bynum. So I'm coming to you live from Chicago, from a front porch and a stoop. That's one thing we don't have in Texas, are front porches and stoops. And if you're from the Chi, you know this is where you spent most of your free time as a teenager, hanging with your friends and chatting, talking, laughing, and, you know, joking. So getting a little bit of a nostalgia, but back to this movie review. So, Magazine Dreams tells the story of Killiam. Child, now I can't remember his last name, but I just kept thinking, like, why would they call this guy Killiam? But Killiam, whatever his last name is a bodybuilder, and that's what you get from the very beginning. And he is very intensely focused on his craft. He wants to be Mr. Universe, or whatever the big title is for guys who build their bodies into works of art. Now, Killiam also suffers from this mental illness, and we get these scenes where he's talking to a counselor of some sort who seems woefully inadequate in diagnosing and treating his mental illness. And so, how this illness manifests, is that he has poor impulse control. So, like, someone makes him mad. Like, okay, I'll give this away. This is not too much of a spoiler. These painters kind of, get over on his pawpaw who's raising him, and I'll get to that, the reason why, in a minute. And he's calling them, and he's like, I'm being very nice. I'm not raising my voice. And they're just like, screw you. If we come back out there, we're going to charge you again. So he goes and he trashes the shop. I mean, like crazy, breaking glass with his fist, his head, craziness. And, so he as a child witnessed his father murder his mother. And it's like he has this arrested development. And although his body is very manly, now the body was body, and don't get me wrong, crazy and all, but the body was body. He speaks. He His logical thought flow is almost that of a child. Like, he's like, I'm not using my voice. I'm not raising my voice. I am being very calm. You are not being very nice to me. And he just has this inability to connect with other human beings in a effective way. And so you see this frustration that grows within him of trying to be noticed. I mean, that's really what it is. He wants to be loved, be seen as valuable. Like, he really takes it to heart when the judges criticizes a part of his body, like really to heart, to extreme levels. And I'll say that to preserve, some of the oh my God moments if you were to watch this movie. Now, I totally get like the Oscar buzz and all of this, but I also totally get how not releasing this during the height of his trial, although it was detrimental to his career, is probably good for his freedom, because it was giving me Bigger Thomas and Native Son. And if you've ever read that book, you know what I'm talking about. It's this big, menacing looking black man, and then there are scenes where he's getting like really aggressive with the white folks. Even like he gets tackled by the police. It's just, but you see as the viewer that what looks like just this big aggressive guy on the outside is this tortured human being who is struggling, and he's aware that he says a sickness inside him, right? So he's aware of his mental illness, but he doesn't have the tools, he doesn't have the medication, he doesn't have the support to help him manage it. And I think that's the real story of this movie, outside of the drama, his personal court cases and them, not deciding not to release it, only to be released later. And listen, I know it's not gonna do numbers at the box office, but if we're just looking at it like we were from space and we were looking at this movie, you're like, give him all the things, give him all the awards, give him all the accolades, because the way he transformed his body, like he looks the part of this huge, nothing but muscle bodybuilder. And I want to say also, what I think exacerbates his mental illness is the fact that and this is a bit of a spoiler, so stop it now if you don't want to hear it. Okay, that's enough time for you to stop. He's using anabolic steroids, and the doctor's like, this is destroying your body. So I wonder how much of that aggression and lack of impulse control, coupled with his traumatic past, is producing, these episodes, And the one person he who loves him unconditionally and who he loves is his papa, which is his father, who he takes care of. And we see him being a caregiver. And we also see him struggle to connect with human beings. And the one part of the movie that angered me is the part of the Mr. Olympia or whatever, because Killian calls him constantly and writes him, well, not calls him, but he writes him letters like fan mail. And so he finally calls him back. And the moment he calls him back, I'm like, he's trying to take advantage of this boy. He's trying to take advantage of him. He's trying to take advantage of him. And, that was the part that made me upset, because the one time he feels like he has really genuine human connection, it was someone taking advantage of him. So I say, if you are a fan of movies and a fan of storytelling, you should watch this film. It is not a feel-good film. It's very tough to watch. And having, friends and people in my life who have struggled with mental illness, it's also like a clarion call that we have to be gentle with people who struggle. So did you watch it? What do you think? It's available on demand. That's how I watched it. Yeah, I paid that $20, child. I paid it. Let me know what you think.